Hola, ¿qué tal? Son las 7 de la mañana, las 6 en Canarias y por fin es lunes.
Tengo que levantarme temprano. Tengo que entrenar.
Tengo que estudiar para el examen.
Mañana tengo que presentar un trabajo
Con la universidad.
Tengo que seguir mejorando. Sé que lo voy a conseguir.
Lo voy a conseguir.
Tengo que bajar ese tiempo. No puedo rendirme ahora.
No puedo rendirme ahora.
Tengo que hacer el último.
Líderes en esfuerzo. Líderes en superación.
Sé que puedo conseguirlo.
Sé que puedo conseguir. Sé que puedo conseguir.
Líderes en talento. Líderes en vocación. UCAM. Lidera tu futuro.
Hello, everyone. A very good morning to all those of you who've joined in from Spain and other parts of Europe, and a very good afternoon to the others who've joined in from the Indian subcontinent. We are very glad that you're here, and on behalf of UCAM India, I, Safin James, will be your moderator and your host. We welcome you to this webinar on the topic Game Ready High Performance Conditioning for Team Sports. We are quite excited to have each one of you with us today, because today is the webinar where there will be quite a lot of insights from an elite level conditioning in the sports science. So to begin with, let me invite Dr. Sunil, who is the director of UCAM India, to share a few words to begin with.
Thank you, Safin. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to those who are joining us from Europe. Welcome to this webinar on strength and conditioning. We are very excited to have you all here. We have a very esteemed guest here, Jose Carlos Barroso, who is the strength and conditioning coach for the India football team, as well as for FC Goa. And he is going to share some of his secrets of strength and conditioning, because he obviously operates at the highest of levels when it comes to this. And we all know that strength and conditioning is key to functioning, for athletes to function at the highest level possible. This is partly because UCAM is recognized as one of the top high performance strength courses in the world. And we have elite level teachers who take courses for us, and this webinar is an addendum to that course. So we would be very grateful that if you could fill up the form that Safin will send in a little bit. We will connect with you, and I think you will benefit from tremendously benefit from not only attending this seminar and listening to the seminar and learning from it, but also looking at the larger program that we have on high performance strengthening. Thank you very much and have a great time.
Thank you, Sunil. While we continue in, let me just quickly go ahead and give you a run through for session for today. This session is scheduled to be for approximately 50 minutes. Right now in the chat, I'll be dropping a forum for you all, which you can have a look. And there are a few things which we would like to hear from you, which we would like to understand from you, so that we could be in touch with you. Most importantly, to give you the updates about UCAM India and to keep you updated about such engaging webinars on sports science in the future. So it's there in the chat for you all to pick it up from. And in the meantime, let me continue in with the rest of the program scheduled. Jose Carlos Barroso, whose introduction Sunil have already given in brief, is going to be dwelling into the topic which you all are quite excited for, I'm sure, which will close in with a Q&A for about 5 minutes. Please hold on to the questions, which I'm sure you will have quite a lot of when Jose speaks about his hands-on practice with the team in FC Goa and Indian national football team itself. So the last few minutes would be for you all to speak to Jose Carlos directly, gain his insights personally. And towards the end, we will close in with a few discussions and a round of interactions as well. So here's another introductory video which I'm sharing you out for, which also includes some of our students speaking a bit brief about our program. Do have a listen.
Hello, my name is Jose Carlos Barroso. I'm a sports scientist. I've been working in India for the last 7 years in different clubs in the Indian Super League and also in the national team.
My name is Jibin, student at UCAM Mumbai for High Performance Sport. I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to UCAM for organizing such informative and engaging sessions. As a student at UCAM, I genuinely value the effort and dedication put into making these sessions clear, practical, and relevant to our academic journey. The guidance provided has deepened my understanding of research principles and will certainly support my future work in the field. Thank you for your commitment to the academic excellence.
My name is Ria Boveja and I'm a tennis player. I'm currently enrolled in the Masters in High Performance Sports Strength and Conditioning program at UCAM. This program is helping me to understand more about my body. Hence, I'm able to understand the biomechanics behind my workouts and I'm able to apply them. Thank you.
To the time now we all have been eagerly waiting in for. Once again, let me get in line to welcome Jose Carlos and introduce in brief. He is the head strength and conditioning coach for the Indian men's national football team and have been quite actively working with FC Goa and other clubs of ISL. Coach, we are happy that you're here with us today. We all are eager to hear from your first-hand experience into high-performance training, athlete conditioning, injury prevention, and I know the list is quite long for you. Just to give in a brief, Jose Carlos, his expertise in preparing athletes, not just for the Indian footballers, but throughout the world, has been phenomenal and has been doing quite a good job in it. So today's session is completely focused into it. Coach, once again, thank you for accepting our invite. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. I will share the presentation, so once we got it there, I can start. Can you see well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. For me, I'm very excited to be here with you guys because normally I'm in the other side always. I think we are students always, no? And for me, it's a beautiful moment to be here with you guys now, and I try to share my experience, my knowledge with you, and please, every question that you have during the session, please keep it aside, and we're gonna finish talking to each other, and let's have a good conversation, okay? So let's get started. This is the presentation, guys. I will try to go from the global presentation of the design in the year to the more specific sessions in the gym, sessions in the field, details of how we design microcycles, how we design sessions, and then I think you're gonna have some good questions after for sure. Let's start with the pre-season, guys. This is the last pre-season we did with FC Goa. Normally, we like to work, depends in the country, depends how is the off-season. We like to work between 6 and 7 weeks. We try to play as much games as possible also to prepare the team. In this case, in India, we know that between the one season and the next one, there is always a big gap. The off-season is quite long. So for us, it's very important, minimum of 6 weeks to prepare the team. Sometimes it's not enough. We need more, but in this case, The preseason had 6 weeks with 2 friendly games. In the second week, we introduced the first friendly game. In the third week, the second one. And then in this particular case, we have one tournament, which is important in Goa, in the city, Bandot. And it's not the plan that as a strength and conditioning coach I would like, because the load at the end of the preseason is very high. You see, we have between 24 August to 6 September, 5 games. This is 5 games in 14 days, which is a lot in this period. But we have to adapt to any situation, and we try to do our best regardless the situation, guys. So in this case, we won this trophy, which is something important for the club, for the players. But we pay a little bit this effort at the beginning of the season, but we recover well after. It's important to, in my opinion, to design the full year, because as you see now, all the games are in orange, and days off are, for example, days off and trainings, everything is there, but the days off are in gray. White is always trainings, and it's important because you have an overview of where you can load with the team, when you can deload, which is key when you have a season like in India, that you play sometimes every 10 days or every 3 days. And we have to know exactly where we can work strong with the team. We have to deload also. And if we don't have this overview, it's difficult, and we can make mistakes in the long term. We can also analyze where we have key games, which is direct rivals, or where we can maybe have a big loading after, for example, a FIFA break. In this case, for example, when you see a lot of days off, is because it's a FIFA window, and then we have a lot of time to work. So keep in mind always that the good planning can save the season. Going from this design that is more global through the season, we go to the microcycles. And in India, it's true that it's very particular situation, because we can have games every 3 days or every 10 days. So it's as a strength and conditioning coach, is very demanding. We have to be ready for any situation. And this is the kind of microcycles we can find. Short ones, that is the top 3, where you see that you have 2 days, 3 days, or 4 days to prepare the team between one game and another. If you see, the green block is the recovery and compensation. It's always the most important. That's why it's always in the beginning. And sometimes you don't have time to load, which is the orange color. Sometimes you only can recover and prepare the team for the next game. And this is important because you cannot make mistakes. And if you don't have time to train, you don't have time to train. It's like this. So it's important to recover the players and keep it ready for the next game. Then we have longer microcycles, like the competitive one is 5 and 6 days. As you see now, we can introduce this block of loading, is the orange one. And then sometimes we have also long microcycles, more than 6 days. And then is where we have more time to train with the team, when we can introduce more load, more tactical work. And is the weeks that, as a strength and conditioning coaches, we like more, because we have more space to work, more time, and we can prepare the players in the best way possible for the games. This is 3 examples that I put for you guys to know how we prepare. For example, when it's a long microcycles, in this case we have 8 during the season, and following the game we give 2 days off. If it's in a situation like this one, we use the next 2 days to load. That's why we put after another day off. And in our situation, we like to train at least 4 days before the matches. So you see in the top 1, 18, 19, 20, and 21, 4 days, and then we have another game. Competitive microcycles, we have 7 during the season. And this day off is after the game, but sometimes we put also in the second day. Particularly, I like more in the second day because it's when the players feel more fatigued. So this day is the day off, and then we train after normally or 3 or 4 days. And then the challenge for us is the short microcycles, when we train, when we have games between 2 and 4 days. And as you see now, is, for example, one game on 4th March, and the next game was 8th March. And it's difficult to give days off. We do recovery trainings, but we cannot stay home because we need to prepare the team for the match. And it's challenging because some players need to train, some players need to recover. So we have to find the balance and compensate and recover accordingly and try to win both matches, obviously. Next one. Here I would like to present, guys, the blocks that I explained before, but it's more visual. In the top, you see game, and then we have the recovery block. Recovery and the off normally is always one and another. If not, it's always recovery and compensate. But if it's long micro like this one, we do one recovery and one day off. Then we have 2 days. This is important. We have the day of the strength, the day of more conditioning endurance. This is we call it like load block. We try to prepare the players physically and train strong in these 2 days because are far from the game. And the next 2 days in blue, speed and reaction, these are the days where we decrease the load and the player needs to feel this sharpness and be ready for the next game. This is ideal situation when you have a game on Sunday and next Sunday. So this is perfect, but not always is like this. If you see maxillar contractions, complexity, physical target, training content, the spaces, this is more or less what we plan for every day. For example, if you see in the match day +3, that I would like to call it -4, is more tension, is more intensity. If you go down, you see complexity, moderate, because normally the drills will be more looking for this improvement in the physical conditions. So it's nothing so difficult to understand for the player. So we work hard. We don't need to think too much in the conditions, in the rules and everything in the drills. And then we have physical target normally is axle, diesel, change of directions. And for that, if you see down, the pitch is half pitch. Normally the spaces should be in that spaces where it's not too big. In the smaller space, we're gonna have more chance to develop these axles and diesel change of direction than if we go to the a big pitch. -3 is where the coaches normally work more tactical. Did you see duration is longer training? The spaces are always very big, like full pitch. The complexity is high because it's tactical work, so the player has to be very focused, has to understand what the coach is demanding. And physical target normally is high speed running, total distance, sprint distance, and we work through big spaces, training games, training match, sometimes 11 versus 11, so we play tactical games. And then we go to the tapering phase that we decrease the load a lot. The complexity normally is low because the player now is feeling the fatigue, so we cannot make things that is very complex when they have to, to understand difficult drills. We like to do something in this context more easy to understand. We try to compensate the necessity of the player because sometimes in the conditioning phase, we load too much or we load too less. So our job as a strength and conditioning is to adjust in these 2 days, maybe do more or do less. We are still doing some tactical work, and obviously match the -1 normally is speed reaction is something simple, something funny for the players to feel this sharpness. And then we're going to the game again. Internal load, guys, I think everybody knows. The wellness and the RP is what we use normally in Goa. You don't need, or national team, you don't need any equipment, nothing fancy. It's very simple to do. Internal load, physiological and psychological response to each individual to external load. That is normally the training. Wellness, I will show you now what we send to the players through Google Forms. And we combine these 2 parameters to design the load, internal load of the players. So this is what I send to the players through Google Forms. The readiness I send in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I send a reminder to the players, and they have to answer the questions. It's very simple. With these 4 questions, I got a number, and I track through the season what is the readiness and wellness of the player individually and collectively. And then the RP is the same. I send a reminder after the session when they are in the dressing room, and they feel sent to me in 15, 20 seconds is done. This is how the RP looks when I put in my worksheet. If you see, for example, training and match load, this is the bars. Then we go to the acute and chronic load. This is the line in orange. I put, this is important to know, guys, because I put in colors, I filter by colors. It's not because it looks better, it's because I think for the coaches it's important to have in one look some visual information. So the green ones are always the low sessions. The red ones are always the high intensity sessions. Normally is the games and sessions that we work a lot, very near to the efforts of one game that is more in precision than in season, but we have some of them also. And the orange or yellow one will be the medium sessions that normally is the session that we do in the load block when we said before in the match day -4 and match day -3. And then in the last one is the microcycle, the load of the microcycle. So later you will see what is important because we're gonna track the microcycles through the season, and you can see the periods of the season where we have to work or we work more, periods where the microcycles are more low and we decrease the load a lot. So this information you will see later more detailed. With the wellness is the same. The tool is the same, is with one Excel, and I do the same. You see the numbers here is when the players fill this information in the Google Forms, I put in my Excel, and then the same. I track individually, that is the lines, and collectively, that is the number that is down. If you see, for example, this score, individual wellness daily score, you see all the scores that the players give to me, and then down another number, in this case is 7.9. This is the score of the team in that particular day. When you see the same number, it's because a day off, and I don't like to disturb too much the players. And then these days, I put a common number for every day off, that is a 7. And then I let them rest because normally they are very tired of, speaking to the coach every day. So this day is for us to rest and also for them. Here is where I combine both of them, and this is the full season. So it's important to see, for example, guys, when we try to keep the players fresh for the games, and where is a game that is the highest bar, you see that always there's an increase in the wellness, that is the orange line. This is something that is obvious because we load and then we deload. When we deload, the player starts to feel better, and this is when we try, to arrive to the games in the best condition as possible. That's why this block of tapering is important. This is the full season, so after the season, you can analyze perfectly what happened through the season in the microcycles, the RP, the wellness. Is something that we have to do, and it's very simple. You don't need anything. And this is the microcycles. This is important because, for example, this doesn't happen often that we have such a big load at the end, towards the end. At the beginning, you see that we have microcycles where the load is not too much, and at the end, the load is maybe the highest of the season at some point, but continuously high. So we have to know this, and you have to prepare for this situation because in this moment is a moment when you can make mistakes, and for us, it's important to analyze this situation, and then at the beginning, we load more in terms of volume, we train a lot, and towards the end, the volume decrease, and we try to train less time, but more intense, okay? So because there are more games, we need to keep the players fresh, and this they tend to go towards the season in the best way as possible, because it's where you are playing for the playoffs, we are playing for trophies, and we try to keep the players as fit as possible. This one is the acute and chronic load. This is important, guys, because when you keep the players in this red square is where normally you have less injuries, and then we have to be careful because sometimes we are pushing too much, and then this acute and chronic load will tell us you are on top of the line, so be careful. And the same when we have days off, example, these ones that go down to the bottom is where we have FIFA breaks. Maybe we have 6-7 days off, so the chronic load go down, the acute go even more down. So we have to be careful when we start training. Don't go too crazy, don't push too much at the beginning because it's dangerous. We have to increase the load slowly. That's why we have maybe one microcycle, sometimes even more, to adapt the players, and then we push again. If we start very strong, we can have injuries, and is when the problems start for us. And this sweet spot is 0.8 and 1.3. In my case, sometimes they speak about 1.5. I like to keep it in this gap of 0.5 and try to keep it there as much as possible. Obviously, sometimes we'll go up or down, but we have to know this and then adapt to the situation. So it's something that we have to control. The external load, this is about the GPS. You see now, for example, 0.8, 1.5. It depends on the coaches, but normally it's around this 1.3, 1.5. The GPS will give us parameters of volume, of intensity, of load. Here is in Spanish, but in volume will be total distance, distance in high speed, distance in sprint. It's always a number, a distance. And the intensity will be always this distance divided in time. So when you divide the distance in the minutes that this player play, will give you meters per minute. So this is more about the intensity. And we'll see later why this is important. This is how we train in the team. So if you see these 5 columns, the right one is match day. This is what the players do as average in the game. And this is important because, guys, we have to know how much we train based on our training model. So this is total distance, is a parameter of volume, and is related to the conditioning of the team. So if you see match day -4 and match day -3, we work almost the distance of one game. Some teams will do more. That doesn't mean that it's better. We have to know if the team is performing well, we are in the right way. If not, we have to adjust. Maybe we have to do more or we have to do less. If you see after in the -2 and -1, the volume is decreasing a lot. Is what we said before. It's tapering days, and we have to keep the players fresh. Explosive distance is the same. We cover almost 0.99, almost the efforts of one game in these 2 days, and then we decrease a lot, especially in the match day -1, because it's where if you do too much, they're gonna feel it after. So it's a very low session. In terms of intensity, is the same. This is axles of more than 3 meters per minute and diesel of more than 3 meters per minute. It's parameters of pure intensity. This is where the players feel more soreness after, and this is why you see like the first 2 days, -4 and -3, the high is low, the load is high, but then after decrease a lot. For the same reason, we don't want to have players with soreness, with muscle pains, so we work a lot in the block of loading, and then we decrease a lot. We have to be careful with this because intensity parameters are leading to injuries. And then the load parameters that are more related with fatigue and recovery, and it's almost the same. In the first 2 blocks, we work a lot, the load of one game, even sometimes a little more, and then we decrease. These parameters are related with high-speed runnings, with actions of high accelerations, and it's a parameter that is combining different parameters to create a new one. So it's the high metabolic load distance and player load. We keep going. This is another graphic that I like to do, that this is accumulative, but we can do per player, per days, per session. So we are comparing the max acceleration with the max speed. So I like to do this one because the acceleration for me is horizontal power. The max speed is vertical power. And when we are in the gym, we normally work these two. For example, when we do horizontal vector, we are working axles, we are working hip thrust in the gym, jump, broad jumps. When we are doing, this is hip dominant. If you see all these exercises will be hip dominant. And when we do the vertical vector, that is more related with the max speed, will be knee dominant, that is squats, Bulgarian splits. We do vertical jumps. And normally, it's something that I realize seeing this, the players are more related to the max speed. They are more efficient doing the max speed rather than the accelerations. And when you go to the gym and you start to work with them, you see sometimes that the knee dominant exercises like Bulgarian splits or squats, they are good doing it. It's something that they are used to do. And when you start to do more deadlift, hip thrust, broad jumps, these hip dominant exercises, they struggle a little bit more. So this is some issue that we can start to work in the gym with them, try to improve this, and for sure it's gonna be related with better accelerations on the field. This box plot that also I like to do. This is more for the coaches to validate the model of play that the coach is using. For example, here the wingers and attacking midfielders are very important in this model of play. They are doing more efforts. Even the outliers are way more than the others. And it's important to know because when you are creating a squad, you know which positions are more demanding, and you have to sign players according to this, because a winger can be a player that runs a lot, or can be a player that likes to come inside and play short passes. So if in your model the winger has to run a lot, you have to try to find players that fit in this model. If not, will be difficult to adapt these players to a different model. So I like to send these graphics to the coaches, and then they see which kind of players they have in which position. This is another combination of external load. This is the total distance, high speed running and sprints. And I like to do this. Sometimes it's difficult to find a relationship between winning and performance. But in this case, for example, this is the total distance is in the blue bar. We have the high speed running in the red one, and we have the sprint distance in the green one. This is the games that we play through the season, and sometimes that's why I told you before that it's difficult to analyze and correlate the winning or losing with the performance, because sometimes the numbers are not so good and you are winning. Sometimes the numbers are very good and you are losing. So for me, this is important to analyze the opponents. There are a few opponents that always demand a lot to your team because the style. In this case, you see, for example, Mohun Bagan and Punjab, the teams that they like to play physically, they like to play counters. And we have to know this, because when we play these weeks, you have to prepare for the opponent. So when we have these graphics, it's also good to the coach. He will expect a physical game, and sometimes it's the opposite. Some teams didn't demand too much to our team, and then it's weeks where we can load more because in the game the demands will be less. And the opposite, when the game is going to be very tough, you have to be careful during the week, because if you push too much, maybe the player arrives tired to the game, and the game will be very, very, very demanding. So this is something that we can also use to share with the coaches. You can compare also team performance with individual player performance. Is in the right side. And it's also good to speak with the players to see if they feel good, if they don't feel good, if they need extra work. It's something that is always helpful, and it's something that you can speak with coaches and players openly. Well, this is a bit of everything that we spoke before, is the conclusion. Then we go to the strength part and the injury prevention. Always, guys, we work with a medical team together. It's a very important relationship. I was lucky to have very good physios with me during my time in India. Easy to work, easy to communicate. And we divide into pre-training activation and post-training. In the pre-training, what we try is to prepare the player for the session on the field, and post-training, we try to improve the player and to improve the performances through the gym sessions. Match day -4. I told before, small spaces, high intensity, axle, diesel, change of direction, neuromuscular fatigue, muscle groups to focus on: groin, core, quads. This is one of the sessions that we did through the season in 24th November. You see different exercises. It's pre-training, it's before the training. So if you see, the load is not too much. We do 2 sets, sometimes 6 reps. In some cases, 12 reps, 6 reps is not too much, but this helps the players to be ready to train in the best condition. So we are working quads, glutes, we are doing some core, adductors. Once we step on the field, we are ready to train, and we're ready to train strong. Match day -3, we said before, big spaces, more conditioning oriented, total distance, high speed running, sprint, more aerobic fatigue that recovers faster than neuromuscular fatigue. And muscle groups to focus on: hamstrings, calves, glutes, core. Another session, different, the same thing, not too heavy, not too much. We do 2 or 3 sets, depend the exercise. Not many reps. We combine some glutes on top. We are doing also some eccentric quads, hamstrings, I like always to put something of core, like for example, this chest press, single arm. So we are ready, no, to stabilize when we are doing high speed running, which is important. And yeah, the same thing, keeping the players ready to train on the field. So when we go to warm up, we can go straight to train hard. -2, medium spaces normally is a session to adjust, low density, max speed sometimes, depends how is the previous block. We start the tapering. So muscle groups to focus on, upper body and core normally is what I like to do, and more individual work. In this case, we have some core like planks, rotations, rollout, rotational work. Something that we can do is not creating a lot of fatigue, and for the players is very important because a lot of hamstring injuries are related with bad body position of the trunk. So big spaces, let's try to keep the obliques, the core ready and engaged. Target upper body and individual work, as we said before. And the -1 I like to do at the beginning was a bit challenging because I like to do some strength on the field. And when you put weights in the day before the match, when they see the barbell, the players normally got scared. So we try to educate them in this through the preseason. They saw that it's nothing bad for them. The load is minimal and they feel good. So we do through the season, and we do some wall drills, squat jumps. You see 2 sets, 4 or 3 reps. It's nothing much. Explosive always. We transfer to some jumps. Same with the hip thrust. We do 2 sets, 4 or 3 reps normally with a good recovery, broad jumps to do this transfer from this hip dominant transfer from the heavyweight to the lightweight. And then we do some med wall work. Same, we do some throws, and we finish this warm-up in 10 to 15 minutes, and then we play football. So this is something that we have to introduce. If the players feel good, we continue doing. Sometimes they don't feel it, but we have to always to explain to the players why we do the things. Is the load is minimal, is explosive, they're gonna feel good in the game. And in my case, it was working. I know in some places it doesn't, but if we explain everything to the players, I think they are professionals. They know that we are doing the best for them. This is another device I use, but I don't gonna start now speaking about this because still a lot of slides. Is velocity-based training. If you have any doubt or you want to talk about it, we can speak later. This was the video. We're gonna continue doing. This is the test that we do in the preseason, and we normally track through the season. We measure the fat, the muscle mass, counter movement jumps, aerobic test, 30-15. And one test that I like to do with this device that I told you before, that is this one, velocity-based training. We measure the speed of the reps, and I like to do one test that is the body weight of the player, 80 kilos, for example, and I like to check how fast they move these 80 kilos. So I put the same filter, guys, here, so the coaches can see which players are better or worse in the test, and which player has to improve more. As simple as that, and we have to spend more time with them. This is injury track, so it's always good to have the days of absence of the players, how many days, why, how was the injury. If we have more injuries in one season or less in the other, it's good to track because finally it's our work, guys. Is for me, the most important is to keep the players healthy. If they are healthy through the season, they're gonna get fit, yes or yes, because it's a lot of trainings. But it's important, guys, to keep them healthy and out of injuries. So that's why it's important to track and see if our work is giving results and if we have to adjust from one season to another. Conditioning drills, this is something I like to do sometimes, especially in pre-season or blocks where we don't have games. I put analytic because I understand that sometimes I cannot put some specific work with ball because it's difficult to understand sometimes how is the demands of the exercise. So with analytics, everybody will understand very easy. This is another one a tool that I create just to know the spaces of the drills. When the space is small, we saw before, is more related to strength. When the space is more big, it's more related to speed and endurance. So this is from a book that is, I'd recommend. I don't think you can find in English, but if you can, is a very good book, El arte de planificar en fútbol, the art of plan in football. And this tool is very important to design the drills, because sometimes you arrive to the pitch and is, how big is this game? And you have to know what I want to work. Strength, maybe the game should be 40 by 40. Speed, maybe 60 by 60. So it's important to keep in mind this situation, because you can change one drill. The parameters that you're going to work, if it's strength, endurance, or speed, only changes the space, you change the full drill. So it's important to know the spaces. These are other drills that are more related with the ball. And I bring you a video just to see, guys, maybe some examples. This is the test. We're doing precision. I'm not a big fan of the test, but I think it's important to do to see how is the status of the players. And it's important also because it's a very good training. A test, obviously, the player is always thinking, I want to do good, but a test is a good training. Think about the test as a drill. They will give their best. So for me, it's important to do this more than a training than a test. This is one that I like to do also. It's a straight line, corner to corner, and then diagonal. It's around 225 meters, depending on the field, but we like to work this when we want to do aerobic power, and the ratio is 1 to 1.25, 1.5. So that means the run normally is around 45, 50 seconds, and they rest another minute, 10 seconds, okay? In this moment, you see the group is big. Sometimes the keeper, if they want to join, they're going to be behind. But I like to mix the players that push more with the players that push less. So the players that push less, they will try to follow, and everybody will go at the same pace. There's another one, box-to-box runs, 12 seconds to go, 18 to rest. Is the group at the end. You see it running now. Focus more in high-speed running, max velocity. In the other group that you see is the wide of the box. Shuttle runs, we do 7 seconds, and rest 15. We focus more in accelerations, for example. And this is more integrated with the ball. Same, we are working axles, we are working change directions. We put 1 or 2 balls. First, we do 2 versus 1, then we put 3 versus 2. And it's action that is very short. Maybe the action is 30 to 40 seconds, but we have to push them one ball after another and no rest. Then next group starts. And this one I like to put because if you see, this is my first year in India, in Hyderabad, in the COVID, we have 3 bands. There is 2 players in the left, 2 players, let me go back. 3 players in the right. And I like to put this because sometimes the context is not the best. And we want to have always the best of the best equipment, the best everything, but sometimes it's not possible. So in this situation, for example, I have 3 players with band, 3 group of players, and the others with the ball. I like to have 20 bands, but I don't have. So I have to adjust the training and try to give the players the stimuli that I want, even if I don't have the equipment. So I put this one, guys, to let you know that we have many difficulties, but we have to adapt always. And this is the last one I like to put because one teacher put in one master I did before, and it's curious. And if you read it, it's basically a metaphor of when you arrive to one place, sometimes in this place, the things have done in certain way, and you arrive and you do the same. And guys, you have to be brave, and sometimes we have to propose to the coaches, to the clubs to do something, even if it's new, they never done it before. But if we are not brave to do, then we're gonna start in this wheel of, okay, this, I don't know, this gym session was done like this, so I keep doing it. I don't question why I do this, why they always do this certain thing in this way. And for me, it's important, guys, always to question everything we do. If we do the gym this way, why we do this way? If we do the trainings in this way, why we do this way? And sometimes we have to change everything and start over and do new things, even if we fail. But it's better to fail trying than do the same thing always, and we don't know why we do the things. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you have questions and we can speak a little bit.
Thank you, Coach. We have received one question. Let me read it out for you. Alvaro asks, do you send the RP questionnaire after the game?
No, because after the games are so many emotions, and I think it's dangerous to get in this zone of the players where when you win, everything is fine and they are happy. And if you tell them to run, they will run. But sometimes when the situation is not so good, you send the RP and you can have some problems. And I don't think I need to send the RP after the game, because I understand the players will give everything they have. Obviously, if you play 50 minutes, it's not the same you play 90. But always the demands for me, in my opinion, will be the max. So for me, always 10 over 10.
Thank you, Coach. There are a few more questions coming in. What is the time taken for each S&C session starting match day -4 to match day -1? Asked by Vivek.
He means my time with the team, or the total session of the team working on the field?
Time with the team.
My time with the team in the gym, I try to do always between 20 and 30 minutes, no more, the pre-training. And then in the field, match day -4, we normally go from 70 minutes to 80 minutes. Match day -3, we go a little more sometimes, like 85, 90 minutes, because it's tactical work. Depends also in the coach and in the team. There are teams that if you work with the team 1 year, the tactical work is much easier than if you go to a new team. So for us, normally goes from 70 -4 to 80 in the -3, and -2 and -1, we try to go very, very light, 60 minutes. But it's true that match day -1, the coaches likes to work set pieces, and it's true that they stand and do some tactical work, some kicks, but we are on the field maybe 90 minutes, because it's tactical work. Is not hard as a session, but we're in the pitch a lot of time.
Thank you, Coach. Here's another one from Somaya. The question goes, how is the training load monitored differently between the field players versus the benched players?
It's a good question. The monitoring is the same, because if you play, you have a load. If you don't play, you don't have it. But then the day after, when we do recovery, we separate the groups. We do one part in the gym. The players that play more than 60 minutes do upper body. The players that didn't play or play less than 30, 40 minutes, they do lower body. On the field, they do recovery as jogging, foot tennis, something like this. The players that they have to train, they do a good training, more oriented to intensity, axle, diesel, change of directions. And what I like to do is, after the games, official games, if we can train in the field, we stimulate the high speed running and the sprints after the game, right after the game. And then we cover this part of conditioning after the game, and the day after on the field, we can focus more in the intensity.
Thank you, Coach. We have time for one more question. We'll just take one more question in, and Ravi Kumar asks another question. What input from the technical coach do you have to factor in during the S&C training session?
What input of the coach? What? Sorry?
What input from the technical coach do you have to factor in during the strength and conditioning training session?
Everything, because we have to understand one thing. Normally, the coaches, even if when they do these UEFA courses to be coaches, what they learn about the strength conditioning is not too much. So when they want to do a drill, we have to tell them in which moment of the week, it's better to put this drill. For example, I want to do a rondo 4 versus 1. When you lose the ball, you have to do this run or this other run. I don't know. A possession game, 8 versus 8. Coach, this possession game maybe is better in the match day -3 because the space is big, because the number of players is big. If you want to do this rondo because he's 4 versus 1, and when he loses the ball, he has to run to another rondo. Coach, this session, this training, this drill is better to do -4. Or how long you want to do this session? 6 minutes. Okay, better to do -2 because we have to explain to the coaches why we do everything. The drill is the drill. The coach wants to do a game. Okay, coach, do the game, 11 versus 11. This day is better because this, and this. And the timing, 2 sets, 3 sets, 6, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever. So when the team is training, we are never out of the training. We have to be always there to speak with the coaches to see this training is being too long, is being too short, this drill is too big or is too small. We have to be focusing so many things.
Thank you, Jose. Trust us when we tell you this. We are more than eager to take all the questions which you have so beautifully thought through and put it across. And also, if the time was not a factor of restriction, we could have allowed each one of you to speak and interact. But I know that Jose has thought it through, and the presentation was really information packed. So the questions would be quite a lot, I know. So I'm just dropping in an email ID to you in the chat. Please feel free to drop in your further questions, and Jose will personally reply back to you so that you can have the most technical knowledge from the most sane mind in regard to this topic. So going further ahead with Coach, once again, thank you so much for sharing in your time and your hands-on practices, which has made these teams perform quite well. As we close in, I'm going to share something with you all. So here on the screen, you see our QR to which you can join in and have a quick chat so that you could understand about the programs and the other outreaches which we do at UCAM India. Webinars of these sort is quite frequently conducted in, and most importantly, we are glad to tell you this. Jose Carlos is one of our visiting faculties for the high performance strength and conditioning program which we run in. So let me give you the landing page just in case if you're not able to access the QR and you have difficulty reaching out to us on WhatsApp, here is our website also for your reference. Please open this up, bookmark this, and keep it handy so that you could read about more of the program deliverables and academic outputs of ours, and you could always reach out to us. These being said, let me just conclude it by saying that we are glad that each one of you are here with us today. And on a closing remark, let me tell you that there are many more of national and internationally recognized coaches and sports science scientists who are well established in their respective field, who are working hand in hand with UCAM India. So once again, stay rooted to us. Follow us up on our social media handles, and you'll be able to hear more of these programs and webinars in the future. Jose Carlos, Coach, we are glad that you are here. Thank you, and we hope to see more of you in the coming together. To all those of you who have joined in, a good day and a good rest of the afternoon for you all. Hope to see you all soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining in. We look forward to seeing you in our academic programs or in our future webinars. Thank you, each one of you. A special thanks to you, Jose Carlos.
Thank you so much.